Bengaluru is a Tier 1 city that faces many challenges, but perhaps the most pressing issue that the city has to deal with is that of waste management. Of different types of waste that is generated, wet waste accounts for about 60% of the waste. The city generates a massive of 5,000 metric tons of waste every day. Bengaluru's civic body, the BBMP, spends an average of Rs 55 crore a month towards door-to-door collection of waste and transportation to processing plants or landfills.
Although the number of people who segregate their waste at home have increased in last 5 years, a large number of people still do not follow proper segregation methods.
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗಂಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಬರೋಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೋರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದವರು ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತ್ರ ತಂದು ಕವರ್ಗೆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಧ ಜನ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ.
The 60% of the wet waste that is generated is composed of many elements, among which is organic waste, that is a useful resource to be invested back into the environment. Organic waste includes kitchen waste such as tea leaves, eggshells, fruit and vegetable peels, leftover stale food, garden litter, etc. The BBMP follows a process to collect wet waste from domestic generators every day through the auto tippers at the doorstep. This is transferred to compactors or small commercial vehicles with the help of hook loaders. It is further sent to processing plants as per the prescribed standard operating procedure. However, a large amount of waste goes uncollected, especially in public areas where the waste products are not disposed in dustbins. Composting food waste can reduce the load on landfills and carbon emissions. This stops the linear system of food to waste and creates a circular system of food to food. Vani Murthy is one among who practices composting and organic waste management. A homemaker turned full-time urban farmer, she manages waste in her terrace garden. She has been recognized throughout the nation for her contribution in soil conservation.
Once we segregate our waste, as 60% is organic waste, which comes from our kitchen. We create it every day. We make breakfast, lunch and dinner. We eat a lot of fruits today, diet, so we eat a lot of salads. So a lot of peels and some leftover food which is spoiled or rotten just gets generated on a daily basis. So composting at home, at the source of generation, could be one of the best actions we can take. Composting, we need to understand, it's just breakdown of organic matter. When we say organic matter, it's your peels from your kitchen. It could be fruit peels, it could be rotten vegetables, it could be anything that your kitchen generates. So it's like right from food waste to peels from your kitchen. And this is called the green waste. That is, it is wet and it has moisture. As it breaks down, it has moisture. And the other organic matter that we need to look at is dry leaves. In this season, you get dry leaves, they are crisp. You can actually crush them by putting them in a sack and, jogging. You'll get your exercise too. And when one crushed leaves are added along with this, they are the ratio. That is the wet and the browns. The greens and the browns are ratio. Browns are high in carbon and greens are high in nitrogen. So the carbon and nitrogen are very important in composting. So you need these two, and then you need a container. This is an earthen container. It has holes, it breathes. Oxygen is extremely important in composting process. It's called aerobic composting. That means it needs air for the microorganisms to survive, break down the organic matter and create that amazing black hole. So you just have to take any container and then layer it with some nice dry leaves. Add some nice dry leaves at the bottom, and then you take your kitchen waste and you drop it. And for this, if you want the process to enhance or hasten, it has to happen faster. You need to add some accelerator It could be cow dung slurry, fresh cow dung slurry. It could be buttermilk. It could be store-bought, compost accelerators, and that can be added to this so that you can enhance it. Otherwise, you can just add on some dry leaves. So take some dry leaves, add it to it. Make sure you cover it and then close the lid. So as you fill this up, it may take 10 days for it to fill it up. It may take 1 week. It could take any amount of time depending on the kind of waste that you generate at home. At the end of 40 to 45 days, as you make sure that you maintain the balance, it shouldn't be too wet, it shouldn't be too dry. If it's too dry, it stops. The breakdown stops because the microorganisms need moisture to colonize and they increase in their numbers. At the end of 40-45 days, it will become like this. It will be crumbly and it will be moist, it won't be wet, and it smells so good. That is the sign of a good compost. And this is the compost that you add to soil so that you can grow your greens and your vegetables. So composting, it is nothing but an organic matter that needs to go back to where it belongs. And where does this belong? This belongs to the soil, because it has to feed the soil so that the soil stays alive for us to grow our food. So there is a direct connect between, there is a cycle that we need to complete, that the organic waste should be held back, put back into building soil to grow our food. And then when we grow food in organic soil, which is a living soil, then we are the plants that feed us. The produce that comes out of such soil is nutrient dense, and that's where we get our energy from when there is a lot of nutrients in our food, which is totally missing when it is grown with pesticides and so much of fertilizers that people usually use to grow food today. And also the depletion of the soil is not good for the planet, because when there is a desertification that's happening, when there's no life in the soil, then slowly it threatens life on this planet. It's not just human beings that live on this planet. We have million other species that depend on a healthy planet. A healthy planet is that we can make sure, because we as human beings are the only species that generate things that the earth can't digest. Every other species lives in harmony with nature, and they don't generate anything that the earth can't digest. So we can see that we are the ones who are destroying, we are the ones who are polluting, and we need to take action. We have been looking at how people can grow, even in the smallest of balconies. They can compost their kitchen waste and then make a lovely soil with that compost, which is enriched soil, which feeds the microorganisms in the soil, and grow at least few plants, edible plants. You could grow your greens, you could grow your coriander, you could grow your pallads, your spinach. So it's so important for us to understand where food comes from, especially youngsters, children. They should feel connected to soil. They should feel connected to nature.
As citizens, it is our responsibility to take a small step towards waste management. We can start by segregating our household waste into dry and wet waste. One small step can help our world be a better, cleaner, and healthier place to be in.